G'day guys, I'm recently here down under. The infamous Nauru offshore detention centre has made the news again, with various politicians and under public pressure seeking to remove all the children from this island. And there's debates at the moment as in what they're going to do there. The leftward-leaning Greens and Labor are saying just let them into Australia, and there have been protests in Sydney and Melbourne supporting this. The current Prime Minister has said, look, New Zealand has offered to take them. We'll send them over to New Zealand provided that they have permanent bans on coming to Australia, as that would basically, New Zealand would just act as a middleman for them to hop scotch to come to Australia and get on welfare. There's also been reports that some of the the children in these detention centres have been brought to Adelaide for medical treatment. I don't really have a problem with that, as long as they don't get to stay. Just because you're a child, just because you're sick, doesn't mean you can break the law. And entering Australia illegally is breaking the law. What no one is talking about at the moment, though, is that a number of these asylum seekers on Nauru, somewhere between 70 and 90, I've seen varying reports, 70 to 90 of these desperate asylum seekers have rejected an offer to go to the United States, as they've been told that they would have to get a job and wouldn't be able to get welfare benefits. This rejection of a generous offer to be able to go to the United States as an immigrant is hard proof that these people on Nauru are not actually asylum seekers fleeing persecution, they're just economic migrants. And I don't blame them. I mean, if you were living in a country that was crap, essentially, it was low human development index, low GDP, there's not much opportunity for economic growth, and you just see Australia, why wouldn't you come? I don't blame them at all for that. But my sympathy does not extend to letting them break the law, and entering Australia illegally is breaking the law. So yes, this report casts a large shadowy pall over the legitimacy of the asylum claims. This hasn't been brought up in Parliament. It hasn't been yet brought up in the mainstream media. Normies don't really know about it. I haven't even seen it discussed much on Bitchute and YouTube yet. So hopefully I can bring it to everyone's attention that a number of these people have refused entry to the US as they wouldn't get free handouts. In the same vein, I haven't heard anything about legitimate asylum seeking cases with this migrant caravan heading towards the US at the moment. It's likely that they're just economic migrants fleeing, terrible socialist countries that they have down in Central and Southern America. Now, a word of warning to my friends over in the US. In case you don't know, letting in one group of people, this one group of refugees, 10,000 or so of them, will not stop the rest of them. You've tried this before with Reagan, where he gave amnesty to a few million people, and that was meant to solve the problem forever, but as you can see, it has not solved the problem. And down in Australia, it's the exact same thing. Australia used to have relatively few boats arriving every year, with only under 200, I believe, refugees were arriving by boat every year. But as soon as Australia started entertaining the idea of not turning them back, not detentioning them and that sort of thing, that number skyrocketed into the thousands. And it's sort of gone back and forth between entertaining the idea of bringing them in, which sends up a big flare that suddenly the supply can meet the demand. Now, what do I mean by this? The demand to move from third world countries to first world countries is essentially unlimited, and as I've explained, I don't blame them. The only thing stopping them from coming is an extremely strangled supply. Australia will turn back the boats, imprison you, and that sort of thing. It won't let you into the country, but as soon as it starts to let people into the country, it essentially sends a market signal to the people smugglers that the game's back on, and they'll sell more seats on their boats, they'll travel out, and more people will die at sea, and they won't get to Australia anyway. They will still be turned back. It's all for nothing. So yes, to the US, I would advise turning away this migrant caravan and defending your border. It will be tough. They will, of course, as we all know, they will put the pregnant women and children in front. I would advise non-lethal force, and if you have to, just let them step over the border one by one and arrest them. I believe you have upwards of 6,000 troops there at the moment, so you can certainly, I'm sure one soldier can arrest two people. So bring a lot of handcuffs. I would advise against using lethal force. I know Trump said he hasn't ruled that out, but I believe that's just a floor show. I do not believe Trump will fire on this group. I do expect tear gas, rubber bullets, riot shields, batons, that sort of thing, but I do not expect that live fire will be employed. So yes, just another quick video about an important topic. Share it, spread the word. These people on Nauru, they're not legitimate asylum seekers. If they were, why would then they move to the US? They're just economic migrants. They're here for the welfare system. The free money, so to speak. Paying nothing, get out a couple $100 every week. If only people could work out that government spending works exactly like a credit card. You have to pay it off eventually. Thanks all for sticking around, and have a good one.